Hello, this is Naz from NB Network Lessons. Hope everyone's doing okay and safe. Thank you for joining. I'm going to go ahead and go over integration by parts today. Okay, so there are situations in which integration has to be done by dividing it into two parts. Okay, so we're going to go over that and hopefully it'll make sense. But the more problems you solve, you'll get a hang of it. Okay, so before you walk into the exam room, you have to remember that a scientist, mathematician came up with this, a really smart mathematician, I would say, that integral of u dv is equal to uv minus integral of v du. So you have to remember that. Okay, so without any further ado, let's look at an example. So let's say we have something like this. We have e to the x, x times e raised to the power 4x dx. Okay, how would you solve that? Now in the past, the problems we have solved were basically just like integral of e to the x dx, right? Which was pretty straightforward to solve. But this is another variable in front of e. So that poses a challenge. And that is where great mathematicians came up and divided this integral into two parts. So let's see how. So what we can do, we can say this right here, x, let's call this as u, and then the rest of this, we call it dv. So far so good? All right. Then if u is equal to x, okay, if I take derivative of u with respect to x, I get 1. All right, no rocket science to that. So then I can easily say du, this implies basically du is equal to dx. Okay, so far so good. Now what we say is that, okay, the second part we assumed dv is equal to e raised to the power 4x dx. Okay, that's what we did. That's what the assumption we made according to this formula. Now if we take integral of both sides, okay, if I do like this, integral of d of v is equal to integral of e raised to power 4x times dx. This right here will be just v, right? Because if this, we're taking antiderivative, right? So this is integral, all right? This is the derivative. If you take integral of this, you will get dv. So that's all I'm doing. And on this side, since we just have e raised to power 4x, we can use the substitution. And I've shown you that in the past also, but let's go ahead and go over that real quick. So then what we do is that before we solve this further, we say, okay, let's say u is equal to 4x, okay? And I'm talking about solving just this part right here, okay? So I say u is equal to 4x. So then take derivative of u, du with respect to dx. What is that going to be? Just 4, right? So then what we can do is we can basically solve this. We can say take the integral of both sides. So this becomes v, okay? And then I get integral of e to the 4x times dx, okay? And then I replace e to the 4x. We assume that u is equal to 4x. So I do u all right? And then dx is going to be, if you do algebra right here, in this part right here, dx will be equal to 1 over 4 du. So far so good. Pull 1 over 4 out of the integral, 1 over 4, and then inside you have eu du, which is pretty straightforward, all right? So then you can just take integral, as I told you, mentioned in previous lectures, e raised to power anything is indestructible. Okay, you cannot take derivative of, you cannot take integral. So then finally I get v is equal to 1 over 4 e to the 4x plus a constant. Yeah, don't forget that. If you miss this, your professor might decide to take some numbers off. Okay, so now we have that. So now we know what v is and we know what u is. Okay, so now we can use this formula and do the work. So what we do is that we say u times v. What is u? U is right here. I already explained u. U is right here, x, okay, times v, we just calculated, 1 over 4 e to the 4x, all right, minus this integral of v, which is 1 over 4 e to the 4x, okay, du. What did we calculate du? We said we calculated du is equal to dx. So then I can write this as dx, right? So far so good. All right, let's go ahead and do a little bit of simplification. We say x over 4 e raised to power 4x, okay, minus, we bring this 1 over 4 outside of integral, all right, and then inside we have e to the 4x dx, okay. Now what we do is we take the integral of this. Once we do that, we get x over 4 e 4x minus 1 over 4, okay. And let me ask you this, what is the integral of e raised to power 4x? Same thing, it's indestructible function, okay. So then what I get is that I get 1 over 4 times 1 over 4 e to the 4x, all right, plus c, never forget the constant, plus c, okay. So now it's pretty straightforward. So the answer is going to be x e 4x over 4, all right, and then you got minus 4 times 4 is 16, 1 over 16 e to the 4x plus c. So that is it, my friends. That is the final answer, okay. Hope you enjoyed it. Watch this video a couple of times. It'll make more sense to you. But I really appreciate you watching my videos. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. Take care of yourself. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.